the cameras are poised for a living legend to take center stage. Is it a television icon who's changed the way we look at competition? Is it a personality so big few could ever hope to fill his shoes? Is it a man whose peers call him the best of the best? The answer to all three questions is yes. But it's not Negreanu, it's not Hellmuth, it's not Ivey. It's Michael Phelps.
For me, it's all about competition.
We're back at the Atlantis Resort on Paradise Island for day 2 of the PCA 10 main event. Established pros and the stars of tomorrow turned out in force to compete for the first major title of 2013. 987 players created a prize pool of more than $9.5 million. But with 500 of them coming back for day 2, we won't be making the money today. It's all about tripping up and knocking out. The 2 day ones took few prisoners, as a gallery of familiar faces was sent to the rail. Golf star Sergio Garcia failed in his bid to repeat last year's deep run. And not one of the previous PCA champs managed to survive the carnage, with Mr. PCA himself being dismissed by the poker marvel. However, we did see the emergence of a few bright new PCA stars, as Mike Mizrachi tore up the tables and the swimming untouchable Michael Phelps racked up a solid stack. Not to mention the debut of the roller coaster ride that is Phil Hellmuth. Those eliminated get to head for the beach and nurse their wounded pride. The rest soldier on towards glory. And all eyes will be on the feature table, playing host today to the greatest Olympian of all time. Michael Phelps has won 18 Olympic golds in the pool. He's not the only Olympian competing at the PCA. We also have Boris Becker, as well as winning 6 Grand Slam singles titles. He also won gold in the doubles in Barcelona in '92. Fatima de Melo won her gold medal in hockey in Beijing in 2008. Greg Merson is the most recent winner of poker's equivalent of Olympic gold, the World Series of Poker main event bracelet. Of course, Phil Hellmuth holds the record for World Series of Poker bracelets at 13. Another man with a lot of World Series bracelets is the other Phil, Ivey, but he trails Hellmuth by 5 and he comes into day 2 as a short stack. So at our feature table is 18-time Olympic gold medalist Michael Phelps. Now retired from competing in the pool, he's hoping to make a big splash on the felt here at the PCA.
Obviously, I want to be the best, and there are so many amazing poker players, and especially here at the PCA. It's a learning experience. Over time, I think I'll improve more and more and hopefully have that chance to win a major.
From the greatest Olympian of all time to poker's greatest tournament player, Phil Hellmuth is the headline act at our secondary feature table. With 13 bracelets in over 2 decades, the Poker Brat has no thoughts of retirement.
People ask what drives me to continue, and to me, I mean, what else would I do? I mean, there's no other option. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. I've always kind of said 24 bracelets is my goal, and I'm up to 13, and so I just hope that I can continue to have some great years.
There's no gold up for grabs today, but all have the opportunity to pull away from the pack and edge that bit closer to one of the greatest victories of their careers. So an exciting lineup on day 2 of the PCA 10 main event, and how exciting is it to have the greatest Olympian of all time on our feature table?
Pretty exciting, but we've also got a little Hollywood at our feature table. Matt Salzberg's name should be a little familiar. He won WPT Paris and is a producer for the TV show Weeds.
Everyone else is so quiet today.
Maybe because you're a huge star.
All my roommates were so pumped when I heard I was playing with you. Like, it's my hero.
You think Michael Phelps flew here or just swam from Miami? It's not that far.
Well, Phelps is the second biggest stack at the table with just shy of 100,000. Guillaume Rivet is the table chip leader. I like the fact that Ryan Pignatelli really made an effort on the day that he's playing with his hero, wearing a tank top on TV.
Island time, bruh.
Blinds 500 and 1,000 with a 100 ante, as the remaining 500 players come together for the first time.
Whoa, forget Michael Phelps. Who is that?
Her name is Nesseline Cordelie. She's folded. Michael Phelps has raised to 2,300 with ace-9. Action on Matt Salzberg in the big blind.
23. Table 23, right?
And he's holding 23.
Michael Jordan, huh?
That's right. He's a good player.
He is a good player. It's a good hand, too.
Oh, come on.
I should have gone with it.
I think Jordan's actually here at Atlantis right now, and where there's celebrities, there's always...
What's up, Mike?
This guy. It's gonna be real awkward if Phelps doesn't know who he is.
Welcome to poker, my man.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, thank God.
Your new profession.
Yeah, right. I don't know about that. Where are you, right here?
Hey, you put up 90. I'm at the secondary table there.
What do you got today?
I'm up to like 40. I won like every pot, but small.
All right, well, quit waiting for the award ceremony and get back in there. Look at him, he's like Batman.
Oh, Phil. Oh, Phil.
So Michael Phelps is just like the rest of us.
Actually, at breakfast, me and my friends were discussing whether you had a lot of spare time for poker or if you were training pretty much year-round and had no time.
I mean, I played some.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it was a way for me to relax and sort of get my
Right.
mind off of everything,
Yeah.
so.
Poker's definitely good for that. Yeah.
I've had a lot of people helping me.
Speaking of which, Michael, I am totes avails if you ever want to talk poker sometime.
Let's see Hellmuth in action on the secondary feature table, facing a raise from Henry Strasser. And Hellmuth 3 bets to 6,700.
Huge fan of Phil, not a huge fan of 3-betting with 8s into a very early position raiser. A lot of people left to act behind.
Well, action has been folded back around to the original raiser. Strasser with a weak suited ace.
Probably the absolute bottom of his range.
He folds, and Hellmuth wins another small pot. So let's check in on the other Phil Ivey, who started the day short stacked. He has shoved with ace-10, and he's been called by Alex Billiker, who won the high roller event at last year's PCA with ace-7.
Ivy shoving for just over 4 bigs. Billiker's call is standard and mandatory. It's standatory.
So far, so good for ace-10. Oh, but the board double pairs on the river, meaning this one will be chopped up.
Disappointing, but not as disappointed as Phil was when he lost the bracelet. Heads up to this guy.
Tried to make it 2 in a row for the cameras, but no such luck.
Surprised he has time to be here with his busy schedule on CSI Miami. This hand is dead.
All right, good luck, my man.
We've lost Daniel Negreanu.
Good luck, brother. Bring it home.
He started the day short, and now he's gone.
You guys, shh. It's the chip leader, but he's all tuckered out from stacking chips.
I don't think I've ever seen Ashton Griffin at a poker table when he's not been fast asleep. So he's the man out in front with more than 250,000. Other big names in the top 10 include Michael Mizrachi, Paul Volpe, and Greg Mueller.
And don't forget Maxim Labzadidze. Boom, nailed it.
Let's head back to our feature table where we've been joined by a new player, online qualifier Kristinel Dimitru. Imagine that, you win an online satellite and you get to sit next to Michael Phelps on TV.
That is pretty sweet.
Dimitru's raised, ace-6 suited. King-queen off for Matt Salzberg.
Relatively late position.
He calls. Michael Phelps in the big blind. Not gonna play, so heads up to the flop.
Not sure if they get weeds in Romania. Don't think it ever came out on Betamax.
Dimitru with the best hand. Out of position, but with the pre-flop betting lead, and he has flopped the nut flush draw. Salzberg with top pair.
So this is a flop where some stuff could happen.
Dimitru continues for 2,400.
I like calling here. You can raise, but you're usually getting called by things that have you beat or things that have massive equity.
Salzberg does just call. The turn is a brick for Dimitru, the Jack of Hearts.
Picks up no additional outs, but it looks like he's going to keep building a pot.
That's 6,400.
Speaking of pot, the weeds producer should probably still keep calling.
He does call. The river card is not a club, so no flush for Dimitru. Salzberg's hand is best. But Dimitru's going to bluff this river. He bets 13,300.
And this is actually kind of a hero-y spot. King-Queen is probably the bottom of most people's calling ranges here. You're beating bluffs, obviously. Maybe a few value hands like King 10 and King 9, but that's about it. Not an easy call.
He does call. Dimitri's ace high, no good.
Matt Salzberg hasn't been this stressed out since pilot season. Yep. Well played, Hollywood. Now, get a haircut.
Matt Salzberg with an above-average stack, 67,000 in chips. Let's head back to our secondary feature table. Table Hellmuth.
What is €1 million worth? What's that, 9.6?
No, it's worth like 1.3.
About 443 million drachma.
Not that he cared. He just wanted the bracelet.
That's true.
Yep. I know my poker brat. I'm the online poker brat. There's been some tweets saying they want some Brat on Brat coverage.
Simon Schrepp won his way here as well. He is also a fanboy.
I used to have your avatar and people thought I was you. It was awesome.
Story checks out. You know, I do see a slight resemblance.
Do you want to see some Brat on Brat action? Tag your tweets, PCA 10. Phil Ivey is all in again. He's been called by Antonin Duda. Ivey with top pair, Duda is up and down.
Oh my God.
And gets there on the turn.
That's it. Look.
We've lost Phil Ivey from the PCA main event.
Duda, where's my handshake?
He came into day 2 as a short stack and just couldn't get anything going. If you want to play in an EPT event, go to PokerStars.com, where there are qualifiers every day. Welcome back to Atlantis, Paradise Island, where day 2 of the PokerStars.com PCA 10 main event has already claimed the last few chips of some of our big names. And on the feature table, we just lost short stack Ryan Pignatelli, who before he departed, made sure he wouldn't leave today completely empty-handed.
Phelps, buddy. Yeah, you mind if I come later, get a picture with you?
Later on, yeah, sure.
All that fame might be tough for some to carry, but Michael Phelps has some pretty broad shoulders.
I had somebody say to me, if you could take 5 or 10 seconds to put a smile on somebody's face, do it. And I enjoy it. You know, sometimes when you're playing, it's hard for me to really focus on what I'm doing and take pictures. So if I'm ever at a table, I never do. But if you catch me walking around, I never have a problem with it. I'm more relaxed, I think, at a poker table than I was in the pool. When I was in the pool, that was my job. Throughout my career, I've had a lot of amazing accomplishments, and here I'm kind of a new guy. You know, I'm a newbie. So, you know, I think it's cool for me to be able to learn new things and try to grow as a player. You know, I'm a very competitive person, and I've been able to learn from some of the greats. You know, Antonio's a great friend of mine, and my roommate, Jeff Gross, we always go back and forth, and we always compete with each other. He wants to win a major, and so we're kind of like battling it out now that I can play a little bit more, see who can now really win a first major. He was like, I swear, if you win the PCA this year, he goes, that'll be the sickest thing in the world. So I guess that's something that I would like to do, and I still have a lot to learn though. You know, there's still a lot of play left, and just happy to make it through day 1 and bag my first bag of chips. I've never done that before, so that was kind of cool. This is really just a dream come true. You know, I'm living the life that I always wanted to live.
Now he's looking to spend time in a different kind of pool. The prize pool. I knew I missed one at the top of the show.
Action's on Matt Salzberg.
All right.
Deuce 3 suited.
Okay, Lucy. Lucy Goosey.
He raises to 2,500. Eddie Sabat has just joined the feature table. Not going to play 9-6 off. Nezrine Cordeley is all in with ace-queen.
Standard shove with ace-queen and 20 bigs.
Michael Phelps folds. Evan Parks calls all in.
God damn it, I can't get away with the Jordan ever, huh?
Basketball numbers don't go up high enough to make anything better than pocket 5s.
So we have a race on our hands.
Jordan's gonna win now. Way ahead.
Parks, the player at risk. He is the marginal favorite, and that's a good board for 6s.
Jordan would have flopped the deuce. Still behind the 6s.
Evan Parks just has to fade an ace or a queen on the river. He doubles up.
The best hand holds up. Bad news, Nezreen, you lost. Good news is, it was less than half your stack.
Parks up to 21,000. A 21 big blind stack. Still playing 500 and 1,000 with a 100 ante. Kristin El Dimitri first to act. He folds. Evan Parks will also pass. Rivet and Gallican are out. Action has been folded around to Matt Salzberg. Raising in the cutoff with King 4 of clubs. Eddie Sabat on the button. Folds. Nezreen Cordeli's out. Ace 10 for Michael Phelps in the big blind.
Will we see a 3-bet?
Yes, we will. He re-raises to 5,100.
Much like my hotel room here, this 3-bet's cool, but it's a little small.
Oh, I got upgraded to a suite.
I'm real happy for you, James, but with stack sizes at this depth, you want to give it a little less incentive to call.
Well, Phelps has flopped top pair. Salzberg has flopped bottom pair.
42.
Kind of a dream flop for ace 10.
42.
That is indeed the size of Mr. Phelps' continuation bet.
And coincidentally, the age most people guess Matt Salzberg is.
He calls. The board pairs on the turn.
Not a great card because Salzberg would have been calling with a 5 just as easily as his 4, but not a terrible card either.
Phelps now slows down. He checks. Salzberg will bet, but only 4,000.
Matt's trying to protect his hand, probably assuming any 10 or better would have probably bet the turn again.
Phelps calls the 4K.
Calls but doesn't look happy about it.
The river is an 8.
Another not great card, open-ended on the flop just got there.
Phelps checks again, and Salzberg checks behind.
Both check knowing the other one's got something.
And Phelps shows the winning hand.
Mike probably should have bet the turn. Top-level players are going to go for value in those spots. Ironic because in the Olympics, he always crushed the turns.
Nice. Checking in on former tournament chip leader Ashton Griffin, he has called the all-in of Christopher Hunnichen.
Maybe the once-in-future chip leader if he can win this race.
Looking for an ace or a king. Well, there's an ace. Griffin takes the lead, but there's a 10 on the turn, giving Hunnichen a set.
Gross.
And he improves to a full house on the river, so Hunnichen will double up through Ashton Griffin.
That ace on the river is just like that Alanis Morissette song. Not because it's ironic, but because it's really annoying.
So Griffin now drops out of the top 10. Ramiro Petroni, the current tournament chip leader. Mike the Grinder Mizrachi, 9th in chips overall. And he's involved in a hand against Alex Billiker, who's been moved to the Grinders table. It's a 10 high flop with 2 hearts. And Billiker is betting 2,600.
Grinder going nowhere.
He calls,
Billiker in a rush to see that next card.
which is the 7 of clubs.
The nuts on this board just went from top set to a straight.
3,100, and Grinder quickly raises to 15,000.
Unfortunately, trying to put Grinder on a range here is like trying to put baby in a corner. Nobody does it.
Billiker folds, and Grinder wins another pot.
Great raise by Grinder. Bluffs are almost always giving up in that spot, and plenty of pairs are folding too.
He's up to nearly 230,000. Well, let's leave Table Grinder and head back to Table Hellmuth.
I hope you guys tweeted that you wanted some Brat on Brat action, because whoever loses, we win.
Well, the so-called online Brat, Simon Charette, got the action started here with a raise to 2,200, called by Jeremy Kotler. And Hellmuth is thinking of playing from the big blind. He calls as well. We're going 3-way to the flop.
Phil dominated by Kotler, who is dominated by Charette. It's like a poker human centipede.
That is an image I didn't need in my head.
Top pair for Charette. And Phil is reaching for chips.
An interesting donk lead from Phil.
This is fairly baffling. I don't think it's going to get the response he wants.
Charette with top pair calls. Kotler's flop nothing. He folds. The turn brings the 3 of spades. Still nothing for Phil, who slows down. He now checks.
Maybe wisely giving up. Phil's move was so weird, maybe it'll keep Charette from going for value. Nope.
The yellow chip's worth 1,000 each, so he bets 4,000.
Oh man, he raised my blind every time. I thought I was gonna nail him this time. Okay, buddy, I'll let you steal another one. But now we're playing. I will not fold again to one of your raises from under the gun.
Well, that's probably good news for me. If I'm raising on the gun, I probably have a good hand.
You raced 4 times under the gun.
I probably had good hands.
Story checks out. Phil, sometimes they have it.
Now, your reading ability changes the whole thing.
I don't have to just stick in 15 big blinds if I'm going to read somebody in the next hand.
Phil's made as many good reads as Stephen King. He's also made as many bad reads.
2,500.
Action folded to Hellmuth in the small blind, and he's raising to 2,500.
You don't have to try to win them all, kid. You can fold occasionally.
His chances of folding here are jack and squat, and Jack just left town.
I'm all in.
He shoves!
Wow.
I didn't see that coming.
That's what happened to me yesterday. A kid kept moving all in, and I never busted him. It was so sad to me.
Don't hate the shove. Deuces play horribly after the flop, and Phil rarely makes loose pre-flop calls.
It was so sad. I mean...
Oh, wow, you have a really strong hand, too. A small pair. What's gonna do? 30 blinds.
Wow, just jammed it with 30 big blinds.
Yeah, well, you just made the speech how you're gonna get me, and then you raised me.
Of course I had it.
No, you had it.
Of course I had it. What?
Of course, you bluff sometimes, Phil. I know that. Everyone has to. Online Brat 1, live Brat 0.
Isn't it 2, technically?
Who's counting? Phil Hellmuth's counting when it comes to World Series bracelets, that's for sure.
Am I more famous for being the poker Brat or for my 13 bracelets? So unlucky. I'm really getting sick of this. But no, he fills up and wins 14 for me. I'm not bratty as much as I used to be. And of course, the bracelet count's going up. Had a classic summer, finished like 70th in the first tournament out of the box with like 3,000 or 4,000 players in it. Then had like a 40th, then had a 14th. And so I'm like, wow, I'm on the track, I'm getting better and better, I know exactly what to do. And then boom, boom, won the Raz tournament, bracelet number 12. Then I thought, okay, this is right where I need to be. I'm in just the absolute perfect fighting mode right now. I'm gonna win another bracelet. I was so sure I was gonna win another bracelet. And then I finished 4th, and then I finished 4th. And I was like, what is this? And then, of course, the World Series of Poker Europe main event came along, and I won that. So it was pretty cool picking up 2 bracelets. And it had been a while, you know, since '07. I've never been to the PCA. It's my first one. Winning this event would be amazing. This tournament's, you know, an important part of poker right now, and it's something that I need to be coming to every single year, so that's why I'm here.
No, Phil. This tournament is becoming something important in poker because you're here.
Out in the field, Boris Becker's been KO'd.
Game, set, match, B-backs. Only a 2-day courtship, I guess you could say, huh?
How's his fellow sports star and fellow Olympic gold medalist performing?
Still alive, hanging in there.
Another lady with a shortish stack is Liv Boeri, less than half the tournament average. Eugene Kachelov, on the other hand, way above average, among the tournament chip leaders right now.
Bossing it.
Line's now 600, 1200 with a 100 ante. New player at the feature table, Aaron Massey. He folds.
Way to make a splash, Massey.
Action now, Matt Salzberg. King 10 in the cutoff.
25.
Raising to 2,500. 8-7 off for Cordelie. She folds.
Au revoir.
Ace-Jack for Michael Phelps. And this looks like a re-raise. A 3-bet from the big blind to 4,200.
Another baby 3-bet from Phelps.
And Salzberg, once again, with the advantage of position, will call.
See, that's the thing. In position, it's not so bad, but out of position, it's like saying, come on in, the water's fine. Unintentional that time.
Both players missed this flop. Phelps continues for 3,000.
Phelps gets a little help from this flop since Salzberg bricked. Really tiny c-bet, too. Wonder if Salzberg's thinking about making a move. Nope.
He folds. And Michael Phelps is now up to nearly 120,000 in chips. Well, we need to get across to table Hellmuth, where Phil has been dealt pocket kings, but the bad news for him is that Henry Strasser has been dealt pocket aces, and Strasser has just limped.
Oh, man, Phil's gonna think he's got him right where he wants him.
Here comes the raise. Hellmuth makes it 4,000. Action on Simon Charette. He passes. Queen Jack suited for Team Online's Tatiana Barausova.
You don't have to move in every hand, young lady. You can fold occasionally.
Bup. First of all, let her have all the camera time she wants. Second of all, one player to a hand. She's got an actual decision. I'm sure Phil would love it if she jammed, but Strasser would love it more.
She gets out of the way. The blinds. Both pass. Action back on Strasser.
I'll take this one.
Still not happening.
Re-raise.
A big re-raise.
Wow, look at this. The ultimate cooler, really?
Phil sniffed it out. He knows what he's up against.
If anyone is capable of getting away from this, it's PHJR.
Ow.
But he also can't make a habit of folding kings at people who play strangely against him.
That said, Strasser has played these aces pretty much face up.
Once he limp re-raises, aces do become a huge part of his range, but still, Phil has kings.
All right, I'm in.
And he shoves.
You got aces?
Wow.
Phil fell for it.
And now you do have the king.
Of course I have the kings. What else would I have?
Phil Hellmuth at risk and way behind.
All the kids giving all their chips away. I get eliminated like this.
Super cold deck.
He needs a king. 2 outs for Hellmuth.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
He doesn't hit, and he is eliminated.
Good hand, man.
Thank you.
Unlucky? Thanks. Good luck.
Seriously, I'm a huge
Handle yourself well. You handle yourself well. But I think I was going to get some chips from you.
Probably. You bet me.
I think I was. Thanks, man.
Limp re-raise with aces. Works every time. Yeah. Sunglasses.
Let's give credit to Phil Hellmuth, who loses with grace. It took the 10th year of the PokerStars.com PCA for the poker brat Phil Hellmuth to make a main event appearance. But day 2 got the better of him. So we're changing up the secondary feature table to bring you a man who's among the tournament ship leaders, Mike the Grinder Mizrachi.
Grinder is a maniac. Expect him to be in more pots than a ladle.
He's in a blind-on-blind clash with Jamie Rosen here. And Grinder bets the flop, 2,600.
Betting his gut shot. Both players have gut shots and backdoor clubs.
Rosen calls.
He's got Mike nutted in the club department. Uh-oh.
And there is a club on the turn.
Grinder's double gutted now, though.
44.
4,400.
No way Rosen can fold with the second nut flush draw to go with his straight draw, and potentially the best hand with king high, which it is.
He does call, and the river is a king, so Rosen now with a pair, Mizrachi with the straight. The nut straight at that, he bets 15,000.
Nearly a pot-sized bet. Sure, the 4-card straight is obvious, but of all the hands Mike would be betting right now, most of them are bluffs. There isn't a ton Grinder can value bet. He can't even really value bet a lot of 2 pairs. This may convince Rosen to call.
He does call.
Nuts? Nuts. This is why Grinder is so dangerous. It's like he literally, figuratively grinds up his opponent's cards and chips with his wild, unpredictable meat grinder style.
He's now playing a stack of 230,000. Well, from one Mizrachi to another, let's check on Mike's brother, Robert. Involved in a hand on one of our outer tables against Justin Bonomo. Bonomo has checked the turn. Robert Mizrachi bets 10,400, and Bonomo folds.
The Mizrachi brothers, second only to the Mario brothers when it comes to taking down coins.
They both have World Series of Poker bracelets. Robert got his in 07. He taught his brothers how to play the game.
They both have bracelets, but neither one of them has this beautiful, illustrious, shiny trophy.
Robert came close, made the final table of this tournament in 2007.
A couple years later, finished 22nd.
Back of the feature table, action is on Aaron Massey, raising under the gun with 7s, 2,500 to play. 8-9 suited for Guillaume Rivet. And he will call.
Little loose, but fine.
Andre Galakin will fold, as does Matt Salzberg. Ace-king for Eddie Sabat.
Eddie's got about 66 big blinds behind. I think we should be seeing a 3-bet here. Nope.
Just a call.
With that stack, I think a lot of players are going to be happy to 3-bet, get it in. Ace-king in what could be a 5-way pot is not cool, Zeus.
Michael Phelps calls out of the small blind with 8-9. And Kristinel Dimitriou calls out of the big blind with ace-9. So we are going 5-way to the flop.
Things not looking so bad for Massey with everyone else sharing outs. That is hilarious.
It's a queen-high flop, and Michael Phelps, who can't actually win the hand outright, will don't lead for 4,000.
He really has been learning a lot from Phil Hellmuth, hasn't he?
Dimitriou folds.
Now, this is supposed to look strong, but A, this is a small bet, and B, you're almost always going to get called by someone. So when you do, you're going to have less equity than a Sudden Valley model home.
Massey, with the best hand, will fold. Reveille's out. And Sabat,
It's yours, Michael.
he gives it up as well.
I cannot believe that worked. Check out Bluffy the Vampire Slayer over here.
Well, they've played roughly 50 hands at the featured table. Just how active has Michael Phelps been?
He is fitting right in. He is playing just as many pots and 3-betting just as much as the rest of the table. The only area he's not average is chip stack. Pretty good spot to be in. Michael Phelps is rolling in the deep end.
Blind still 6-12. Action's been folded to Andre Galakin. And he is raising to 3,000. Matt Salzberg calling with King 10 suited. Hold it around to the blinds. Dimitriou with a decision. And that decision is to fold. And Massey, with 4 deuce, will also pass. So heads up to the flop.
Salzberg's actually got position after the flop.
King, King 8 trips for Salzberg. And Galakin, playing a stack of 18,500 roughly, will bet 4,500.
And he's going to wish he hadn't.
Salzberg moves all in.
I don't like this shove. I love it. With the quick shove, he can rep a flush draw.
Galakin calls. He is at risk and in need of some desperate help.
He is not going to be happy he fell for that.
He needs to see a 9 on the river. He only has 2 outs. Well, a king gives Salzberg quads and seals Galakin's fate.
Good game.
Had a good luck.
Hey, at least he can tell everyone he went broke with a full house to quads.
So a stack of 64,000 now for the WPT champion / TV producer. Do 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 do. Do 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 do.
Weeds is a show that was on Showtime for the last 8 years. I was a writer and a producer on the show. I've been there since the beginning. We just kind of wanted to make ourselves laugh and do a good show for us. And, you know, we took it very seriously, obviously, but you never know what's going to last, what's going to be accepted by the public. And fortunately for everybody, it was.
Hey, hey, hey.
So right after Weeds wrapped, I went to France on a 2-week poker holiday to play the Partouche main event in the south of France in the WPT Paris. And I wound up winning the WPT Paris. Winning was always, you know, a dream, so I hit that. And then now, of course, you just want to keep winning because the feeling of winning those is awesome. And to win this event would be really amazing. It's an awesome tournament. The fields are huge. The prize pool is obviously really big. It's prestigious, and Atlantis is a super fun place to come and play poker.
I have the Weeds box set, but I swear it's not mine. I'm just holding it for a friend.
Or from one WPT winner to another. Actually, a Triple Crown winner. Jake Cody recently announced as the newest member of Team Pro.
Oh, I thought he was announcing that he was going on tour with My Chemical Romance.
Oh yeah, that too. And from the new kid on the block to an old hand, the other JC on Team Pro, Joe Carter.
The old new kid.
We've got a 3-way all-in here, and Eugene Kachalov with the best of it. Plus he has the other 2 players covered.
It's all skill. Sam Grafton needed back on the set of Halloween.
Aces hold.
Aces got everything covered.
Pleasure playing with you all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, aggressive dealer.
Ship the chips to Eugene.
Take this one.
1 ship. 2 ships.
Really easy. Okay.
Kadylov now playing more than 275,000, and among the tournament chip leaders, fourth on the leaderboard, Michael Mizrachi, currently the man out in front.
The grinder.
Action on the feature table is on Michael Phelps, ace-queen. He raises to 2,500. Aaron Massey has ace-king suited.
That's going to be bad news.
He re-raises. It's a 3-bet to 6,600. It'll be interesting to see how Phelps responds to this. Action's been folded back around to him.
Now, even though we know he's dominated, Phelps might think he has the best hand, and he could 4-bet since he's out of position.
If he were to do that, and Massey were to shove, he'd have a tough job getting away from it.
13-4.
Well, he does 4-bet. He re-raises to 13,400.
Small 4-bet now, but small 4-bets are actually okay.
Massey does not ship, he just calls.
I think if I have ace-king suited in that spot, I'm going to stick it in. Don't want to get blown off your hand on the flop.
Which could well happen because it's a nothing flop. 9-7 deuce rainbow.
Some players are actually more comfortable calling than jamming on a nothing flop. I'm actually cool with that too.
Phelps continues for just over 10,000.
Most players are going to peel at least one street. This bet was only a third of the pot. You've got 2 overs, backdoor diamonds. Like I said, there's always that shove.
Massey is the effective stack, playing just shy of 50,000. And he folds, face up!
Wowie kazowie. If that's how he plays his ace-king suited, Massey is a masochist.
Michael Phelps wins another pot.
That's him.
Well, James, if there's one thing Michael Phelps is good at, it's splashing around.
And he's now up to over 153,000. The many species of aquatic life here at Atlantis are one of the resort's biggest attractions. But this week they've been overshadowed by another marine presence who's been making waves at our feature table. Proving to be anything but a fish, Michael Phelps has already outlasted more than half the field at the PokerStars.com PCA 10 main event. "301 players remain, but Nesrine Cordelli is not one of them. She's been eliminated, and she's been replaced at the feature table by Otto Lemke. As we sweat with Michael Phelps, we're only going to see the Olympic champs hole cards.
Hey, look, the guy who writes for weeds also likes to eat them.
Action on Eddie Sabat, and he is raising to 3,400. There's Lemke. He folds. Phelps has Jack 10 in the cutoff.
Even at the poker table, Michael Phelps more comfortable in goggles.
He just flats.
Kind of a loose call, but we're feeling good, we're comfortable, we've got chips, people are folding to us, why not?
Guillaume Rivet in the big blind. Also call, so we're going 3-way to the flop.
We probably don't have the best hand, but we do have position. I'm a little worried about Eddie, who's an APPT champion.
That's a good flop for Phelps. Top pair, plus a backdoor flush draw, plus a backdoor straight draw.
I'm less worried now.
Everyone checks.
Checking just fine there. Not hard to be beat or ahead, but dogging it.
Trip 10s now for Phelps.
I like it.
Rivet checks a second time. Eddie Sabat going for chips. A delayed continuation bet, 2,100.
Eddie could have a hand, but I think he's going to bet his air here an awful lot.
Good.
Phelps raises, makes it 5,200.
Not sure we wanted to do that. If Eddie's got nothing, we want him to keep betting his nothing and not fold to a raise.
Hang on a second.
This is getting weird.
Rivet now re-raises. A 3-bet to 13,000.
Well, this play is more insanely strong than the Indian from Cuckoo's Nest.
Eddie Sabat will fold. Pocket 8s.
Now, it's entirely possible we're beat, but then again, our raise doesn't look particularly strong, so this could be a bluff. I think we should call and reconsider on the river, which, by the way, is made of water, so I like our chances.
Phelps does call. Heads up to the river.
Not getting much off this guy.
4 of spades. Can't imagine that's changed anything.
Gotta be a brick. Now, a lot of what we decide to do here is going to be based on whether or not Rivet bets, and if so, how much. A big bet, say over 30K, I think we fold. Under 30K, I think we call.
The bet is 24,000.
Yep. Just think we have to make this call. All the flop draws missed. Could be a busted flush. Could be a smaller 10.
Phelps calls, and Rivet shows 6s for a full house.
Gross. And I think this was just a pretty bad cooler. I'm not a huge fan of us raising the turn, and honestly, 6s probably should have bet the turn. But I think it would have taken some major info on your opponent to be able to fold there.
Well, that's the first misstep we've seen from Michael Phelps today. He now has a below-average stack, just shy of 90,000. And at the secondary feature table, we find the grinder in action again. Playing post-flop against Giacomo Fendero.
A lot of lip pursing happening here today.
The grinder bets 15,000.
Probably not going to get Giacomo off a pair and a gut shot. Not with that pouty face.
Fendero check raises 37,000.
And Grinder's got 10 high.
He folds.
Can't win them all, Grinder.
Whoops.
Not again.
What do you mean again? How many salads has Grinder taken out today?
That's not good. Don't look right there.
All I know, Hardigan, is I cleaned up the last one. What's the matter, Giacomo? You just want a pot. Why you pouty? Oh, somebody bring Giacomo a daiquiri. Not too tart. Don't want his head to collapse on itself.
Back to the feature table where we have another new player. Runner-up in the 2012 World Series of Poker main event, Jesse Sylvia.
Boy, Michael Phelps really lets his legs go and he's not swimming, huh?
Raising from the hijack with Queen 10 suited. Folded around to Jesse Sylvia in the big blind. He also has hearts. Ace-3 of hearts.
Scott Phelps nutted in that department.
Just a call. So we will see a flop.
Also, his ace-high's good.
And that flop is 10-4-4. Phelps with top pair. Sylvia checks to him. And Phelps continues for 2,700.
Another really small bet. Wouldn't be at all surprised to see Jesse peel.
Nope, he folds.
Wow, people are going easy on this kid. Maybe a little starstruck? Even though right now he looks like the nerd in the movie before the cool kid makeover montage.
Well, the man who beat Jesse Sylvia heads up in the World Series main event is gone from the PCA 10 main event. Greg Merson, out. We've also lost Simon Charette.
I played really good. It's just another 10 game that just didn't go my way. It's cool. Not a big deal. As long as my swaps go through.
Yeah.
Got to play with Hellmuth and Ivey. Good luck, man.
Simon Charette got to play with his idols and stroke Joe Siroc's head.
I want that.
Back at the feature table. Action is on Matt Solsberg. He's chipped up nicely in the last couple of levels. He's got pocket kings under the gun and he's raising to 3,500. Otto Lemke has
a 5
and a jack. Well, that's going in the muck.
Ugh.
Phelps isn't going to play this hand. Or is Dimitru? Guillaume Rivet with pocket deuces in the small blind calls.
Boy, this could be dirty if he flops a set.
And Jesse Sylvia in the big blind has ace-10 of spades.
Perfect spot for a just call. Your hand is strong, but you don't want to get blown off. And you can disguise its strength a bit and rep a wider range.
He does call, so we're going three-way to the flop. Nearly 12,000 in the middle already. And it's a 10 high flop. Sylvia could get in trouble here.
Absolutely.
Both he and Rivet have checked to the pre-flop aggressor. And Salzburg will continue for 6,400.
Exactly what he's supposed to do. Good bet. Sylvia's probably pretty confident he has the best hand here, but probably not quite confident enough to raise.
He calls. Heads up to the turn.
Plus, if Salzburg's bluffing, he allows him to keep betting his bluffs.
3 of spades changes nothing. Sylvia checks a second time. Salzburg will probably bet a second time. Sure enough, he makes it 11,100.
It's another good card for 2 kings. He's doing just what he should here. Keep betting till you have a reason not to.
Sylvia calls again. Nearly 50k in the middle. And another 10 on the river.
Ew.
Sylvia gets there. How's he going to play it? He checks, but Salzburg checks behind.
So lucky.
Easy with the language, buddy. This isn't showtime.
So lucky.
Some might say it's kind of lucky to be a comedy writer on a successful TV show. Just saying.
Like a 10 there.
I think both guys played it fine, by the way.
I don't think I can fold the turn, but...
No, you can't. Now, I like Matt and all, but he's a little superstitious. He legit thinks there's a dealer in LA out to get him. Her name is Wendy.
Over at the secondary feature table, it's Mizrachi versus Fundero, round 2. Once again, Fundero with the better hand.
Grinder missed about as hard as you can, but I'm sure that will not stop him from putting more chips into this pot.
Fundero bets 4,500.
Oh, Grinder. It's okay to just fold sometimes, you know.
He's got backdoor draws.
So you're saying this random raise is a semi-bluff?
Yes?
I don't think this is a credible raise. You're never raising a 5 because you don't want to chase away your action. Sometimes you'll raise a 10, but you're almost always going to raise a bluff.
Well, Fundero called the raise. The 3 on the turn gives Grinder the up and down straight draw. He checks a second time.
You know, lots of people pick up pennies for luck. Maybe Giacomo's sucking on one.
Fundero checks behind, and a 7 on the river gives Grinder a straight.
Hey, it's the Bahamas. Grinder obviously brought his binkini. It looks like he's going to bomb it.
He overbets the pot, 35,000.
And this runout should look pretty benign, so if Giacomo called the flop raise planning on heroing the river, he should probably stick to that read generally. Even though in this case he smashed.
He lets it go.
Not sure that's the greatest move in the long run. He called hoping Grinder would just shut down, but he did not. Grinder doesn't shut down.
So midway through day 2, Grinder still among the chip leaders, 10th on the leaderboard. Former tournament boss Ashton Griffin is in 4th, but the man out in front with a stack of 307,000 is Team Pro's Eugene Kachalov.
Eugene Kachalov is Bakalov, and will be Bakalov after the dinner break.
Indeed, a brief hiatus in the tournament while the players go to get some food. And Michael Phelps, he hungry.
What do you think Michael Phelps eats, other than world records in the competition? I think maybe water chestnuts.
Well, let's hear from the other Michael we've been following today.
Well, I feel very, very comfortable at my table, and I feel like I'm in good control, and you know, I see that they call me really, really light, so that's why I made that huge overbet with a straight. I knew he was gonna make a call there, and it's been a fun table so far, but you know, I'm holding my own.
Next time, Michael Phelps continues to rise.
I told you luck is coming.
A WPT champ makes a run at another title.
Can I see what you have? We'll be on TV in a month.
And 2 Mizrachis compete for 1 trophy.
Playing with my brother in the same tournament is kind of hard.